Hello and welcome to this presentation on community youth work. I'm Dr. Mark Hammond and I'm the course director for this course. And if you join us, hopefully you'll have a great experience on the BSc Honours in Community Youth Work course. This short slide presentation is really to help you get a flavour for and a sense of the degree programme that we have developed over the years, over 40 years of experience. So what are we going to cover in this presentation? Well, we're going to look at what is youth work. We're going to look at why study community youth work at Ulster. What will you learn and talk about the assessment process and so on, the learning experience and how we will support you. We'll also look at what employers and what former students have said and the application process. So there's a bit to get through, but hopefully you'll stick with us here. So what is youth work? First of all, just to clarify, youth work is more than just playing pool. And I think sometimes people just think that's all there is to it. But it's activities with purpose and fun. It's about building skills to navigate the social world and the world in which people find themselves. And it's about helping young people making sense of their world, young people finding their voice, and helping young people take action to shape a new world. So it's clearly more than just playing pool and table tennis, but it's actually about an educational process whereby young people learn more about themselves and learn more about their world. So that's what we're trying to achieve in youth work. So on the course, we have a number of things that we hope that you will learn, and we'll go through these in a bit of detail in a few minutes. But you'll learn skills that you need to start your career. So that involves understanding the lives of young people. We'll be looking at youth development, excuse me, issues and pressures for young people, youth culture, and about families and communities. You learn about mental health, you learn about leadership and management as well. Secondly, you learn youth work theory and practices. So you look at theories that connect with young people, and you look at how best to relate and how best to connect with young people. You'll be exploring skills and concepts for human development, and you'll be looking at some of the interpersonal skills to develop and deliver youth work programs, both interpersonal management skills, group work skills, and so on through the program. And then thirdly, you'll have youth work placements. And this is just really the broad picture of the degree, whereby you learn about testing those theories in practice in real world situations, and those placements are based in the community context. So the overview, there are 12 modules in total over 3 years, and this full-time degree expects you to be in class between 20 to 30 hours per week. Certainly study in that time. Some of it is blended learning, so it'll be online, and some of it is in situ class, but most of it is in situ classroom setting. And then of course you've got full-time placements as well. And that's 10 weeks in the second semester, mostly in the second semester of each year, but sometimes straddling the first as well. There are 3 full-time placements during the course, and that's where people really get their teeth stuck into practice and practice issues and really learn about how to relate and work with young people. It's a supporting learning environment at the start of the program, and we hope that you develop to an independent learner. So the third year, the final year of the degree, is really much more about independent learning and self-directed learning as well. We point you in the right direction, hopefully, and then you'll take it from there. The course itself is professionally recognised by NSETS, and NSETS is the North South Education Training Standards Board, and it's a body that oversees professional training. So it's a professionally endorsed course, and you'll be up there with in professional recognition alongside, you know, other professions like nursing and community development and social work and so on. This gives you a sense of the degree and the outline of how it's structured. In the first year, in each year you have sort of two practice-based modules and two theoretically based modules, which are in the yellow here, and then in the blue you have a practice-based module, which is really helping you equip you with the skills and practice that you need for the community youth work setting. And then finally, you have assessed practice, which is an actual placement in the field as well. So each year you have that sort of breakdown. So you have theory modules, theory with some practice, then very much practice based, and then finally the assessed practice itself. And that gives you a sense of each of the modules there. I'm sort of just talking over so you can read some of the material there. And if you want any more information on this, we'll be glad to help you, and you can find it out on the prospectus as well. So how will you be taught? Well, each module has a different flavor to it in terms of some of them are a little bit more academic and some of them are very practically based, as I've said. But we try to model youth work in our learning methods. So it's very experiential. Even if it's a more academic approach, it's still very experiential. We operate small group work. We have an open door policy in terms of access to tutors. There's learning through activity at every level you can think of. And we have a lot of time for reflections on experiences that you've had yourself and experiences you've had in a group work setting. We expect there to be lots of small group discussions, and there will be reading seminars as well, with small one-to-one tutorials as well, and online lectures to complement this as well. So we're in this classroom and we're very experiential, but we do have some online experiences as well, online lectures. How will you be assessed? In a similar way, you will be assessed using a variety of methods. And I think without going through all of these in detail, I'll touch upon a few of them. You would have to do some presentations, and those would be usually group presentations or individual presentations in front of your peers and a tutor. There's skills performance, which is a bit similar where you're testing out your group work skills or your one-to-one interpersonal skills. We would also expect you to be doing portfolios and reports on tasks on placement. And of course, you've got the traditional essays alongside that as well, and a few class tests. We've had a really good record. Now, this is just because we don't have more up-to-date information in this. I think in the last 7 years, or since 2019, in the last 7 years, 5 of those years students have expressed 100% satisfaction in the course. Again, because of the pandemic and the last couple of years, we haven't actually had enough people complete an NSS, a National Student Survey, at the end of their course. So this is the data we have, but it's really good. And generally speaking, people find the course excellent and very interactive, very participative, and high levels of satisfaction throughout. 95% of our students go on to study or work after the program, and to be honest, we find that most of those people are in work that is related to the profession of youth work. It's not just something that they get a job in maybe a supermarket or something like that, which of course people do, but most people end up in jobs with where their professional qualification is recognised in a youth work setting. And the type of jobs that people end up in are a leader in charge of youth work in a youth centre, right through to working with Youth Justice Agency. And we have people also working with large voluntary organisations, voluntary sector organisations like Youth Action or Include Youth or Start 360. the student experience itself is one that I think is has been well endorsed from students, and you know there's a few phrases there that you can read in your own time just as you glance down this while I'm talking. But I mean, a former student said I completed the course in 2011 and it allowed me to develop as a youth worker and provided me with the necessary tools to embark in a career that has rewarded me in ways that are hard to quantify. And that worker was somebody who really benefited from the program and really found it hard to put into actual words what he gained, partly because our course is both professional development, academic development, and personal development. And you'll see people gain from all of that right across the board. In terms of community youth work graduates, um, what employers want is they want people who have accredited and recognised qualification and practical experience. We have in our course. Secondly, we have a lot of emphasis and we place a lot of emphasis on the ability to project manage and work in teams. The whole course, in a sense, is group work orientated and team orientated. We also expect students to end up with an ability to solve practical problems and develop resilience. So, not just how to put up with things, but actually how to move through problems whenever they occur, whether they be in your academic development, your personal development, or your practice development. The the ability to facilitate others and to communicate effectively is also a key important skill that employers want. And again, we believe that that's what we provide within Ulster and the Community Youth Work course. So what have employers said then about the course? And again, they have really endorsed it here. In my experience, the Community Youth Work course at UU gives students a great grounding in the context of the profession, as well as valuable placement hours in relevant, on the ground practice situation. It also encourages reflection and ongoing learning, a valuable asset to any employer. So people are actually saying very positive things about the program and how they've experienced our students when they've gone into employment. And I'll just give you a second to read the rest of those, the other two comments. You can pause it anyway. So the application process itself. Firstly, view the online prospectus. UCAS applications, online application, the deadline is usually the 26th of January, but we would accept late applications right up until 28th of February. The shortlisting is based on candidates' professional statement. So, or sorry, personal statement. So in your personal statement, we want to hear about your motivation to do youth work, about your experience of youth work, and about any qualifications that you have, because that's our criteria for you getting across the shortlist. Interviews are held in February mostly, and then sometimes in March. Just we have a few mop-up interviews as well. Now, we are running an interview process, which is you present a video to candidates will present a video, and you will send that in to us, and then we will mark that. So you're effectively interviewed by video, which is quite an innovative way of getting the best out of you, because it's less nervous than maybe sitting in front of two or three people grilling you and asking you questions. In terms of successful candidates, it's a highly competitive process. There's around 200 applicants each year for about 25 places. So our shortlisting criteria for interview, and that's your UCAS personal statement, is that we see your motivation, your youth work experience, and your youth work training. And tell us a little bit about that. Particularly, we prefer OCN level 2 and 3, but other qualifications are useful as well. At interview, we want to know about your understanding of the purpose of youth work. We want to see how your communication skills are in front of us, and in the video, it gives a really good sense of that. And whenever you're talking to video a bit like this, as to how you communicate, we want to know about your depth of experience, and we want to know about your ability to reflect on youth work practice. Those are the key areas where we are exploring your ability for the course. And if you don't get onto the course, it's usually because you've had a lack of depth in youth work experience. In other words, you haven't told us much beyond that of a participant. You may have evidence that you have a poor understanding of the purpose of youth work. And I think in that case, then people go, oh, well, this person doesn't seem to really understand youth work as an educational process and what that actually means. Thirdly, we're we're really keen that you have interpersonal skills and high levels of engagement. So if you have a low level in that, then that'll be one of the reasons why you're not accepted. And then the last few areas is an inability to process your training and learning experience. So these are why you won't get on. So obviously the opposite is how you will get on when you do these in abundance. And sometimes people are very non-reflective about their youth work practice. They can't really reflect on what was good, what was not so good, and how they saw the young people benefit from their program that they were engaged in. And then lastly, when we see youth people wanting to use youth work as a stepping stone to teaching or social work, well, we're not really that interested, because to be honest, we need youth workers in the field. We don't need people who go from our profession to other professions. So I'd really encourage you, if you are keen on youth work, please apply. If it's sort of down there in your lower list, it's not really worth coming to us, because you probably won't get past the interview stage. Now, we're in the Belfast campus, and it's a brand new campus within the Cathedral Quarter, and it accommodates about 15,000 students and staff. So we have actually moved into it this year, and it's a great facility. I would encourage you to check it out beforehand, have a visit, go down to it there in York Street, and get a sense and a feel for the area and what's available to you. The prospectus is there. You'll see the prospectus. This is an excerpt from it, and you can look at that in your own time. And then lastly, just to say that the courses are continually reviewed to take advantage of new teaching approaches and developments in research, industry and professions. Please be aware that modules may change, but they're likely to stay the same for the next couple of years, and the exact module available and their order may vary depending on course updates, staff availability, and so on. But please contact me or any of the course team to get a sense of what we're about. And we would encourage you, of course, to apply now. What I would say is, please get to know a professionally qualified youth worker before you engage in the process, because it's really important that you understand the ins and outs of youth work before you apply for our program. But we would certainly welcome anybody who is passionate about young people, who's passionate about working in a youth work setting and helping young people develop for themselves, develop in their understanding of themselves and an understanding of their world and how to change it. That's what youth work's about, and we would really encourage you to apply now. Thank you very much for listening, and please feel free to contact me. My name's Dr. Mark Hammond, and I'm at m.hammond@ulster.ac.uk, and you can get my contact details on the website and on the prospectus. Thank you.